Okay, so there's been a huge theme on protecting your peace lately. And that's because if this message is for you, you have been on a healing journey. And I want to specifically talk about protecting your peace from individuals that you have to have contact with that are living in like an echo chamber of a past reality that is only theirs. So they're living out of the past, but also only living from their perspective of it. And a lot of times, these individuals' perspective is a wounded perspective, one that is not based in reality. These are the people that refuse to acknowledge any kind of change that you may have made, especially if you've been on a healing journey, okay? They refuse to meet the current you, okay? The you that has grown. And that's because they haven't grown. They're still stuck in this past version of themselves that knew you way back when. And that past version, most of the time, knew a distorted version of you because most likely if they're acting in their pain now, they were most likely acting in their pain in the past. These are the type of people that no matter what you do, no matter what you say, they keep bringing up past versions of you. They project old wounds onto present situations, and they react to you out of their memories instead of the current reality. So when someone is stuck in their old narrative, and I want to emphasize their own narrative, their own perspective, which may have been skewed, okay? Because everyone has different perspectives, all these things go into it. What they're doing when they respond to you, like let's say you have a reasonable request or whatever, for whatever reason, you still have to communicate to this person. When they respond to you, they respond to their trauma, their guilt, their regrets, their unresolved feelings that they are placing on you. But really, it's something that they haven't dealt with, that they haven't looked at, and they're pushing it out onto you. You are literally the screen that they are projecting on. And as soon as you realize that, and as soon as you spot that, it's so important to remember to protect your peace, because there's nothing you can do to change what it is that they're putting out there. So your main job is to protect yourself and to protect those that you're responsible for. So how do we do that? Well, the first thing you do is recognize that this is happening. You recognize that their past version of the truth that they're projecting onto you is not truth. It's not you. It's not who you are anymore. The next thing to do, and this one's really hard because especially when someone's insulting you, also when they're just like making things up that are not true, is to remember not to defend yourself. You cannot defend yourself from a story that you didn't write, from a reality that wasn't lived. That if someone believes this about you, there's nothing you can do to change their mind, okay? If they're in that much pain and they're in this projecting mode, nothing you say or do is going to get through to that person. What it's going to do is drain your energy and just make you angry. And remember, this is all about protecting your peace, because this is a reality you cannot change. You cannot change them. All you can do is control how you react and what you take in and what you don't take in. You can protect your present self from their past version of you. So to do that, you can set up boundaries. That may look like saying to yourself, or maybe even saying to them, I am not available for conversations that pull me backward. I'll engage when the energy is grounded. I choose response, not reaction, because they're looking for a reaction, okay? Because these types of people that are stuck in this echo chamber of the past most likely are stuck in this victim mentality. They're most likely people that have never taken accountability for the things that happened in the past, and that's why they project, because they don't have the ability to do so. And as sad as that is, and just because they're hurting, that does not mean that you need to abandon yourself to make them more comfortable in their delusion, because these type of people, yes, they're in pain and you can have empathy from them, but far away. You can feel bad for them because they are in pain, but far away. And it is your responsibility to protect yourself, because these types of people, they're like tornadoes. Even though the storm is just them, a tornado has an effect on the things all around them. Okay. And so you can't protect everyone, but you can protect you from that by being aware of it and recognizing when you're in those situations, recognizing that they want you to argue with them. They want you to shrink back into this person that they think that you were in the past, or maybe you were that person and you've healed. Either way, there's been a distinct change here. Okay, there's growth, and they want you to do that, and you don't owe them that, because you know what that does? That takes your peace, that takes your growth away, and they don't get that. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video is growth. You don't have to apologize for your growth, for your wanting to be better, or for your wanting to get out of toxic situations, or doing anything that is evolving you into a healthier lifestyle, getting away from this echo chamber that they exist in. You don't owe anyone an apology for that. Your healing may trigger people from your past, but your healing is also not an invitation to reopen the old wounds that you cared for, that you looked at, that you healed from. Okay, this is not an invitation to be pulled back into a hell that maybe you didn't even exist in. Okay, maybe it was a projection the whole time, or maybe you had some part in it, but you took accountability for it. It's your job to stay anchored in the version of you that exists today. Your actions, your maturity, your communication style, that's all proof of who you are. Not their memory, not their narrative, not their projections. Just your consistent, grounded presence when it's needed. And I know a lot of people are going to say, I cut those kind of people off. That's fine. There are some situations where you don't have the choice. I want to go a little bit more into the people that this is for. Most likely, if you're still here, this is resonating. This is something that's hitting you at a level in your life where you're like, I needed to hear this, okay? I needed this reminder. This is for people that have done the healing work, taken accountability, you've owned your past, you've healed what you could, and you're showing up as a healthier version of you today. And you're maybe coming up against people that refuse to acknowledge that. Maybe you're listening and you are questioning whether you're that person in that echo chamber. And congratulations if you've stayed that long, if you're someone in an echo chamber, because this means that you are looking for a way out of that. And so I'm going to do another part to help you recognize, am I that person? And what are the steps that I can take? What should I be asking myself when I go through these past interactions, when I feel like I am projecting my wounds out on people? In order to get out, you have to make changes. So the next part, I'm going to talk about how to recognize it and what steps to take.